Cheers. Welcome to happy hour. Cheersies. It's a little bit different tonight. After the show today, we flew to Colorado for a conference. So we're a little jet lagged, and Bob is not with us. Max had some family stuff, so he couldn't come at the last minute. It's me, Heather, Doc, and Tony. And Kevin's around here somewhere. He might stick his head in later. So we're super glad to have all of you and welcome to happy hour. So, Heather, I can't see the screen very well. Let me pull it up on my phone so that I can chat with folks. Let me see.
Also,
Let me see.
does that help?
Let me see. Um, I can't see anything far away. So I want to say hi to Renee, who's listening in Wake Forest, and Gina and Patty and Stacy and Beverly. Super duper glad to see you. Where is it not working?
Oh, it's working just fine. I just can't. It's not showing me the internet connection, so I got nervous.
Yeah, we're in like uh Verbo Airbnb kind of situation on Wi-Fi. So we don't have our usual tools and tricks. We don't have any of Heather's cats or any of Heather's decorating. At no time will Larry Munson sit on the laptop and knock us off the air. Um, so I'll answer for Jane, looking for the replay of Lamar's happy hour last week. Oh, we had a technical issue. It'll go back up. We had to take it down.
Yep. We had a technical issue. I'll post a link to it on YouTube, and you'll be able to watch it there.
Hi to Judy, who's in Gastonia, and Heather in Zanesville, Ohio, Jessica in South Dakota. Hi there, Amy Scoggins. We're so glad to have you with us tonight. And Kathy Lemaster. We're glad it's Thursday too. This week we've had a lot going on this week. So I have to tell you, the two of us are like,
just ready to sleep.
Yeah. And then, we're changing time zones and stuff. So it was wild. And I just want to say, so we usually do happy hour in the Eastern time zone, 7 p.m. It's 5 p.m. here in Mountain Time. And I have so much feeling for all of you in Mountain and Pacific Time who tell us, I like happy hour, but it's kind of early to be drinking. You are not wrong. It is way too early to be drinking. Sherry Giver is in Cincinnati. Oh, she got her coloring book for exhausted adults today. Yay! Are we giving away are we giving away stuff in happy hour tonight, Tony?
Absolutely, whatever you want. Want to do some water bottles and
grab the new water bottle and let's show it off. We're going to give away every comment counts as an entry. Ed, we're in Denver. We're in Denver right now for a conference. Every comment counts as an entry. We're giving away some of our brand new water bottles, demonstrate the straw, and some coloring books too. And see, it's one of these things where you can flip it up. There you go.
Very fancy.
Yeah. So every comment's an entry, and we'll if you win, we will reach out to you through Facebook Messenger. You will hear directly from Heather. Do not respond to anything but Heather saying, hi, you won in happy hour. What's the secret code phrase you use so that people know we're not spamming them or scamming them?
Oh, I usually just have you email me. So don't give anyone your personal information through Facebook DMs, including anyone claiming to be Bob and Sheri. So
Tammy Johnson said, I love Colorado Springs. Manitou Springs nearby is beautiful. And with the elevation change, the alcohol might hit you. Oh, but listen, listen, the altitude change has hit us so many different ways. We haven't even had a chance. We haven't even had a chance to feel it. To get drinking on here. Billy Floyd says, been listening to your new podcast and it's freaking awesome. I love weird stuff. Oh, you're listening to True Weird Stuff. Yay. Thank you. I'm super psyched for you guys to hear the episode that drops tomorrow. So tomorrow's episode is called Moonstruck and it's about the moon. And I've been asking a bunch of people just sort of casually, like, do you know what the moon is? And everyone's like, the moon is the moon. I'm like, yeah, but do you know like where the moon came from and why we have the moon and what it's made out of? And people go, it's made out of moon moon stuff.
It's not made out of cheese?
It is not made out of cheese. And listen, the moon is a mystery even to science. The moon is a mystery to astronomers. In fact, and I've read this in an astronomy journal just recently, there's the amount of coincidences that it would take for the moon to be what we were taught in school that it is are so extraordinary that astronomers say it's improbable. We don't know what the freaking moon is, but there are a lot of people who think that the moon is not a planet or a rock or an asteroid or anything natural. They think the moon is a hollow alien base / surveillance device. And that's what tomorrow's True Weird Stuff episode is about. We take a look at all of the things the moon could be or should be, but isn't. And then we look at all of the things the moon might be, and it's terrifying. So that is tomorrow's True Weird Stuff. Oh, Cheryl's listening too. Thank you so much, y'all. I cannot even tell you how difficult it is there are 4 million podcast episodes on planet Earth. Now, only about 150,000 of those are active shows, but launching a new podcast into that crowded space, and like how do people even find it? Like, how does it get discovered? How do you grow the show to the point where I can justify making Max wear himself down to the bone producing it? That's a good question. We don't have those answers yet, but we do appreciate your listening. And I cannot wait for you to hear tomorrow's Moon episode. Now, the episode that we dropped last week, Wild West Pearl, is an incredible story of America's only lady stagecoach bandit. And her story, starting when she was a tiny little girl, trafficked into work at a brothel, a runaway over and over again. She just did as she pleased. She could not stand the restrictions that were placed on women of her era. And so she was determined to be free one way or the other. And what Pearl Hart was willing to do to live her life her way and be free is astonishing. And we had a great time making that episode too. So that was Wild West Pearl from last week. So let me say hi to Michelle Williams. Oh, you're listening to True Weird too. Thank you. Lorraine Jordan, drinking Tamiami Trails drink invented by my husband, Michael Jordan. Tell us what's in Tamiami Trails. Because that's out of Florida, I have a feeling it's going to be, whatever it is, it's going to be a lot. Sarah Kirby is drinking vino paired with chocolate chips. Girl dinner.
Girl dinner.
Girl dinner. Cheers to you. Amy Helton, Happy Hour Live is my favorite part of all you guys do. Oh my gosh, thank you. Thank you for telling us that, because we do, as you know, like we do a lot of stuff and we're not really sure, like, should we discontinue some of it? Like, what of all the things that we do you want us to keep doing? Because if you think about it, we do the daily radio show, then we do the oddcast, then we do Fun Size, we do Happy Hour, we do True Weird, we do all of these contests and all sorts of crazy stuff, right? And we, like, are we driving you crazy? Tell us what you want us to keep and what you want us to drop. Janelle's having some Riesling. Yeah.
I think Miss Sarah is with us.
Hey, it's Sarah. Steal me that mirror on the wall. I love it. Where is it? Oh, that one?
I have a feeling they keep inventory of the home decor, so probably can't take that.
Like, you're not even allowed to wear shoes in this particular Verbo house. Okay, so everybody wants us to keep Happy Hour. That's pretty much a given. Oh, the Black Eyed Children was your favorite episode, Jenny. The Black Eyed Children was so fun to research and do. And here's the thing. There you go, Tony.
All right, thanks.
Here's the thing. Like, the true aspect of that is that the newspaper reporter that whose story we told, he still works for that same newspaper. He didn't get rich.
Right.
He didn't get famous. You don't know his name, right? He's not like hosting some wild ass travel channel show about the paranormal. And Tony will back me up. Working as a newspaper reporter in Abilene, Texas, you make
bank.
money.
Yeah. Bank.
Yeah. The man's lucky he has air conditioning and internet. So that's what was really intriguing about that story for me, is that, you know, a lot of like stuff on the internet, it's, oh, my cousin's friend said, but you can never find the original person that any of this happened to. But in this case, we know the original guy.
Found the guy.
We found the guy and we told his story. So yay, thank you all for listening to that. That was great fun for Max and I to do. Janice, hi from Rock Hill, South Carolina. And hi to Pat Bark and Julie Smallman and Meredith Miller. We're going to let Doc's working on something for the show. So when he takes his earbuds out, he'll come over and say hi. And the sheriff may stick his head in if he feels so inclined in just a little bit. Oh, Lorraine Jordan about the Tamiami Trail. She said, it is a lot of different boozy goodness. I can't tell you. How did I know that a drink named after the Tamiami Trail was going to be that? Angela Williams is in Thomaston, Georgia. Hi, Debbie Tallman. Renee Goodspeed, keep all of it, please. Crystal Davis and Eva Michelle. Renee, we may have to put you to work. Crystal Bianco, without being a sappy sap, I'm grateful for whatever content y'all choose to keep creating. Oh, but I understand at some point there's not enough time and you'll want or need to cut back. Oh, there's already not enough time, but Tony was like, there will be no cutting back. There will be no cutting back. In fact, say hi, Doc.
Hey there.
Doc will tell you that not only is there no cutting back, but didn't we come up with a couple of more things, didn't we today?
Yeah, we came up with more stuff for Doc to do.
I can't wait to go back and tell Max.
Yeah, we're actually gonna add some things. Tony, Ed from Grand Junction says hi.
Hey, Ed.
And Regina in Florida says hi. And Carol in Maine says hi.
Hey, Carol.
And Shannon Lynch, I think we're probably cousins, is joining from near Fort Liberty, formerly Fort Bragg in Eastover, North Carolina. Mike and Shannon Lynch. Hey to all of our Q98 listeners. Yay. Thank you for coming to Happy Hour. Gretchen Schwartz is in New York. And hello and thank you for all you do, because Gretchen listens and participates in everything. Willow, Alaska, Julie Brown. Julie, give us an update on what's going on, because 2 weeks ago we're having some weather in Willow, as I recall. So yeah, give us an update what's going on. We've got a hi Doc from Brenna Turpin.
Oh, hello.
Yeah. Mount Croghan, South Carolina. Did I say that right? Elizabeth Davis is in Lima, Ohio, having an IPA on this hot evening. Just got home from the county fair.
All right.
I love the county fair. We were talking the other night at dinner about, those strip mall carnivals, and how as a kid you loved them, and you would stand in line to get on a ride that if you thought about it now as an adult, was probably tied partly together with chicken wire and duct tape.
Oh yeah.
With an electrical short.
Right.
Somewhere in the programming.
But you love the ride.
So.
It added to the ambiance of the ride. The rust chips in your eyeballs, that is part of the fun.
Chips.
So I have to tell you, Doc, Debbie loves your Degrassi t-shirt.
Oh, thank you.
Got another hello for Doc from Cheryl Aruda and Terry Jo Lavelle. Deborah Collier's in Maine. It's rained all summer, no temperatures in the 80s all of August. This has been, I don't know about for you, Tony, but for people on the East Coast, this has been a really wet.
We had a wet spring here, and then it's gotten really hot. We have the heat wave the last couple of weeks here in Colorado.
So speaking of Tony, so we are in Aurora, Colorado.
We're in Aurora, Colorado.
So tell us something that Aurora is famous for, like from either the Old West days or.
Oh boy!
Or now. Other than explosive, endless development.
Right, I can tell you that it's the second largest city in Colorado.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Now that makes the traffic make sense.
And it is a suburb of Denver. And we saw some really cool historic buildings coming in. There's a road called Colfax, which is also U.S. Interstate 40. So before the interstate system, there are all these motels, because this is the way you rolled into Denver from the east. And there's all these really cool motels, really. They're not hotels, from the 50s. And some of them still have the neon.
We have to talk about the chalet.
Oh, God.
So,
no.
So there's a motel here called the Chalet, and apparently um, they have they have two shifts. You can have a daytime room, or you can have a nighttime room. But my favorite part is Tony told us that they have a clothing optional swimming pool. Now, when
I
you
do. I do not know from experience. I'm going to say that again slowly. I do not know from personal experience. But the place is like infamous, right?
Yeah, we drove by it today on the way to this house, and it looks like the kind of place that has daytime hours and nighttime hours and a clothing optional swimming pool. And there's a driveway that it's all like one level. It's very Love American style. And the driveway that goes back to it has a wrought iron fence with hearts on it. which got us on the subject, and maybe somebody here can answer this. I just cannot believe that there are people who have time to have an affair where they go to a clothing optional swimming hotel and motel in the middle of the day. Like, how do you carve that time out? How do you account for that to your spouse?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how you do it.
Like, is there anybody with us tonight that is having an affair where you go to a motel
and
in the middle of the day?
And I don't want anybody in the comments to ask for a clothing optional happy hour because that won't be happening.
I mean, do you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, in this era of surveillance video and tracking on, like, Find My iPhone,
right?
And also, like, you're just always at work. When are you checking in for your daytime shift at the Chalet and a dip in the clothing optional pool?
By the way, there is not enough chlorine
in the world
on planet Earth.
So my friend Anne, years ago, it was she and her, Anne and Steve.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So it was their, I forget what wedding anniversary it was, but it was a pretty big anniversary. And Anne decided that she wanted to surprise her husband with something completely out of their usual routine and character. And there was this adults only motel where every room had a theme.
Okay.
So you would have one room that was like really like old school brothel, red velvet drapes, 4-poster bed. And then you had a room that had a champagne glass tub. And then, but the themes got a little weird. You also had like a cowboy room and a disco room. Anyway, so this all sounds like really fun and campy. Like, I know I'm going to surprise my person. We're going to check into this theme room and we're going to play cowboys all night long, right?
God.
So they go out to dinner and she says, well, now for a surprise. And they drive to this adults only motel, which is conveniently located behind an enormous gentleman's club, like an enormous strip bar, right? And she said they got the key and they walked in. And she said, when we opened the door, the air that rushed out of us smelled like all human depravity from all time. And even though there was nothing like visibly gross, the carpet had kind of a like a crunch.
No.
And the two of them stood there. Now they have been together since college, right? This is a long, like college sweetheart situation. They've been married. They've been together forever. They stood there, the crunchy carpet, the smell of depravity. They're just looking at the bedspread. And then they looked at each other and they were like, let's go home. They didn't even make it past the threshold.
Oh,
yeah.
Crunchy carpet is crunchy and sticky carpet is some of my like nightmare fuel in terms of just I can't stand the sound.
Well, I didn't. Well, no, I did bring it. Oh my God, I did bring it. It's packed. Okay, so remember when Carmi and I went to the Where You Been store? Have y'all ever been to a Where You Been store? It was my first experience. It was wild. So we went on Dollar Day where everything in the store was $1. And it didn't matter.
They have one here in Aurora.
Yeah. Some days it's 25 cents a day, but I mean, you could have pulled an iPad out of the chaos and it would have been $1, right? Yeah. So one of the things that I got was this little flashlight, and it's made out of metal and it's like really like sturdy. But it was fun. When I turned it on, it was blue. And I thought, oh, this is a flashlight for when you go camping and you don't want to wake everybody else up when you.
It's for the bed.
Karamia looks
It's
at
for
it
the
and
bed.
goes,
Flashlight.
oh no, you take that into like skeezy motels and look for bodily fluids.
Well, you know, Lamar and I were talking about Santa Rosa and that hotel we ended up in after the implosion of Mr. Bob.
Yeah.
And that was a crunchy floor. That was a crunchy floor
Oh.
motel.
That
Absolutely was a crunchy floor motel.
That's, you sleep with your shoes on there. Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
Shoes. If I could have bought gloves and a ski mask, I'd have worn that too. It was just
we told a story on the episode of the Oddcast called Band for Life. We told a story there that we have never told. That was the only time we've ever told that whole story, right? If you've ever wondered about certain aspects of the show, you should go listen to Band for Life in the Oddcast feed. We got kicked out of the Best Western, and one of us who is not here tonight almost got arrested. And the only place we could find to stay, you pull up to it, and it's one of those motels where the doors open into the parking lot, which, you know, as a woman, I'm not a huge fan of. You just feel like serial killer bait, but that wasn't even it. There was no office to check in. There was a man in a booth behind bulletproof glass, and you slid your driver's license and your credit card in like a tiny, like prison. You slid it under, and the bulletproof glass man checked you in. Then he slides your key back out. I can't even describe to you what this room was. I can't. The light in the bathroom didn't work. And rather than that being a negative, I took that as a gift from the heavens.
Yeah.
It was better that I didn't know what that bathroom had going on in it.
It was interesting.
Happy gateway to the weekend, says Susie Daly. She's in Pandora, Ohio. Lovely to see Doc. Tony Chapetta said, we moved out here to Arizona in 2019. It's great to hear and see you again. Tony Paisan, when I hear a guy named Tony Chapetta moving to Arizona, why am I thinking
something's up?
Somebody's in the program, okay? We don't ask too many questions. Let's see. Let me scroll back down. Lisa Lovely. So glad some hotels have done away with carpet. Yeah, girl, you're not.
Yeah.
Roxanne Martinez says, I threatened to sleep in our car in Indy one time at a motel across from a strip club. We were on our way to a funeral, and it was the last room we could find as it was the 500 race weekend. Use your imagination. So gross. So gross. Suzanne, did you have to pay by the hour at the motel? Well, no, because girl, you get the whole day.
The whole day.
You know, you get the daylight hours, and then you have to pay more if you want to make it a 24-hour situation. Battle Creek, Michigan in the house. Hi, Cynthia Fritz. Look, there's Tony Chapetta laughing, but not denying.
Not denying it, right.
He's in like Chandler, Arizona, going, you can't go Red Sauce. The bread is for shit.
It's terrible.
Yeah. Sherry Wallace says, it's so great to see Tony again. You and Lamar were classic funny last week. I laughed till I cried.
We had a blast last week. We had a good time.
Mary Beth Clay Miller. Hi, Sherry Lynch. I went to high school with you. Mary Beth Clay.
You know Mary Beth Clay?
The school that I went to, my graduating class, I think there were 106 people in it.
Okay.
It was a little Catholic school. Hey, Mary Beth. I never run into anybody from school. That's so cool. Cynthia Rucker and Melissa Teague and Robert Lyday and Jane Detrick. Once again, we're giving away our brand new water bottles. And some, let me hold it up against Tony so you can see the logo.
And pour like milk in it or something so it shows up white.
Oh, gosh.
That would be kind of gross, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, bad idea. It's a nice water bottle though.
Doc, I remember watching a show called Degrassi High back in the 80s. This is Jennifer Smith. There were two girls who I think were twins that always wore black and white outfits. That's all I remember about it.
Yeah, two twins. It was weird. They looked alike, and it's weird when you have twin actresses on a show.
Were they like twin? They were real twins in real life.
Actual twins in real life.
What were their characters?
The characters were Heather and Erica.
Heather and Erica. Did you watch Riverdale?
I watched like the first season, and then
Riverdale?
I've never seen Riverdale.
Okay, does anybody, let me know if anybody here's watching Riverdale, because a few minutes before we jumped on for happy hour, somebody tweeted at me that they ended the show of Riverdale with Archie, Betty, Veronica, and Jughead in a polyamorous relationship.
What?
Hey.
That's wrong. That's so wrong.
When somebody tweets stuff like that, you're like, oh, that's really funny, and then it turns out later to be true, and you can't believe it. Yeah, so that's what I'm trying to figure out. Rick Sullivan, you can roll a sheet of paper in it and drip it in the bottle, Tony. That's very crafty.
We can do that.
That's very crafty. Oh, look, Robert Fisher. My daughter and I made a little fire in the metal Bob and Sheri pail that the school supplies came in a few years back.
I love that.
Was there no heat? Was there a way to make a fire? Was there no heat?
They were roughing it. Terry Dickinson, Wilmington, North Carolina. They just got back from Denver a few days ago. She said the best part was riding horses smack in the middle of town. 12 miles stable in Aurora, I believe. If you get the chance, you must go. That would be fun. Do you ride? Have you ever been on a horse?
I did one time. It was kind of the saddle. It's weird because the saddles are uncomfortable.
Was it a Western saddle?
I'm not sure. I just never got the picture.
If it's a big one, it was a Western.
We need the picture. We absolutely.
I want to see a picture of Doc on horseback. Heather, have you ever been on a horse?
Oh no, that's much too outside for me.
Have you ever been on a pony ride?
I've never even touched a pony or a horse.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Okay, you know how we did a happy hour from Backyard Wrestling? We need to do a happy hour from a pony farm so that Heather can have.
We need to take Heather to the ride-through zoo that we took.
That we took Ada to, yeah. The ride-through zoo. At one point, what animal was it that stuck its head in the car and freaked?
Bison had a tongue about the size.
Yeah. So Kevin's driving, and we pull Ada out of her car seat. She was 2. And we put her in my lap, and we roll the passenger side window down, and we pull up to this herd of bison creatures. And one of them stuck its head in the passenger side window, and its whole tongue came out. And Ada screamed, and we had a bucket of cattle feed, and threw the bucket at it. And to the day that Kevin's truck got totaled in that wreck, we were still picking pieces of cattle feed out of that truck. Years later. Oh, can you put that up to the camera so everybody can see Doc on horseback?
Look at that, Doc.
Amazing. A man of many talents.
Renaissance man.
I think that's a little.
English or Western?
It's a modified Western. It's a smaller Western.
I think you'd be happier in a bigger saddle where a man can move around
and you can find your spot. You know what I mean, and sort of get comfortable. Yeah.
You are a Renaissance man, though. You are. So what do you think? Should we do a live happy hour at a pony farm and
absolutely
and let Heather pet a horse for the first time?
Absolutely.
And go for a pony ride?
Absolutely. I think, or petting zoo. You've been to a petting zoo?
I've been to petting zoos. I've petted other animals like goats, cows, chickens, just not a horse.
Do you remember? A few years ago, so this is pre-COVID, Bob used to always complain that when he was little, his dad would take him to the warehouse where he worked and tell him to get on a bag of sugar and pretend it was a pony. So, giddy up, sure, fine. Like, it's one of my favorite Bob stories. So for Bob, one year we surprised Bob. We had a pony. We had a man bring a pony to the parking lot of the radio station, and we took Bob out, and he took a ride on a real pony around the parking lot.
Doc, do you remember that day at the radio station where we walked outside and there were like giraffes and like random zoo animals?
Yeah, there were a bunch of random zoo animals.
Ocelot and
why?
They were on the TV. On the TV station. But it was the weirdest day at work because you're just like, going out to your car to get something, and there's a giraffe.
It's pretty random, yeah.
Let's see. Betsy Belcher says, I'm joining late. Where's happy hour being broadcast from tonight? We all flew into, Tony lives here. Yeah. But the rest of us flew into Denver after the show because we have a conference that we're going to as a team tomorrow. So, and we'll post some pictures from that when we get there. We're all a little bit, you have to forgive us, we're all a little bit delirious because yeah, we're just all a little bit delirious. Oh, Karen Lineberger has a friend with a donkey rescue in Oklahoma. Girl, have you ever touched a donkey?
No, actually.
There's
Unless-
There's a lot of lines in there, Sherry.
Unless X's count.
A donkey ranch in Oklahoma.
A donkey rescue.
Do they have Wi-Fi? Do they have some internet?
I would, man, I would freaking love that. Oh, and okay. So, it's tarantula migrating season in southern Colorado.
It is.
And so after we finish up this weekend, Kevin and I are going to drive down to southern Colorado so that I can experience the tarantula migration. So Tony, describe like what actually happens. You guys, this is the coolest.
They're just a bunch of them that are just moving south. And you know, if you have any like fear of spiders,
Absolutely not. Yeah, I would.
right? But so the town you want to go to is called La Junta, and then you want to go south of La Junta, and you're almost. Speaking of Oklahoma, you're almost in Oklahoma. You're so close to the Panhandle,
And they're
And
everywhere.
They're just yeah.
That's
And
my
and
nightmare.
it's wide open space and it's flat and it's just scrub brush and stuff. So it's it's not like I don't know. It's not like a forest. It's just like open. It's not really prairie either, but it's just flat.
Well, the thing about tarantulas though, they can't bite you. They don't have any way to bite you. And they're soft. Have you ever touched one?
So when I was a kid and they had like creature feature on like Saturday during the day or maybe Saturday night, there was a movie called the Tarantula. It must have been made black and white. It had been making it in the 50s, right?
Oh, with the whole
And
atomic
some
panic.
some
Yeah.
cinematographer like put his camera down in front of the tarantula and then cut to people going, But it scared me. It scared me when I was a kid, and ever since I've been like, ew, with spiders.
Well, they're so those sci-fi movies where the ants are gigantic
Yes.
and the tarantulas are big. I'm
Yeah.
fascinated by those because and I've read a bunch about them. People were so afraid. We had just had, for anyone who's seen Oppenheimer, we had just had the successful test, and then the bombs were dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and people around the world, and especially in the US, were just in a panic over radiation and atomic weapons. So all of those 50s horror movies where things got radiated and got really huge, it's a really cool cultural artifact.
It absolutely is. I'm a fan of the movie Godzilla, the original one.
Yeah.
And if you watch it, not the American version with Raymond Burr, but the Japanese version, which is called Gojira, and I'm exposing my nerd self, and you guys can comment all you want about it. But it's more about that. It's more about these guys have been testing all these atomic weapons in the islands in the Pacific, and you woke up some damn dinosaur, right?
Which is a really good premise.
Which is a really good premise. And if you watch it in Japanese, it's so much. The whole plot line is different. And I know. I know. Welcome to 1956, everybody.
Oh my God. Wait, I have to tell everyone what Kevin just said. He just whispered. So Bob's not here, and you're talking about movies from the 50s. That is a big.
I'm sorry. Okay.
That is really.
The role of Bob will be played by Tony this week. I apologize, but that's just my thing. I like the old Japanese like horror movies. I just can't. I know. I can't stop. I cannot stop myself. I'm sorry. I'm going to drink.
Crystal River in Florida. Well, when this was, oh my gosh, a while ago, we were visiting Crystal River, and one of the employees there was walking around with a giant tarantula on her hand. And she came up to me. She said, "Do you want to hold it?" Which it never occurred to me that was an option, to hold a tarantula. And so she put it in my hand, and it was as light as a feather, and it was soft. And it looked at me with its kind of like alien bug face. It was very cool.
It's got too many legs and too many eyeballs to belong here.
It's the
and I know
hairiness.
you love aliens. I just want.
Yeah, it's the hair. It's the hair.
They don't. I don't like spiders.
There are certain bugs that are like horrifying and gross, but tarantulas are furry, like like your kitty best friend, except they're
No.
spiders.
Except for they have a million too many legs and eyeballs. I don't like it.
I am so our producer Steven, who you hear us talk about but you've never seen, he took his 2 little girls to the tarantula migration a few years ago and was disappointed that they didn't see as many as he was hoping.
And it depends on the day. It's hit and miss. You can
Yeah.
you could see only a few, you can see a lot. Depends.
So and on the way here Heather saw a prairie dog.
I did, and I was very excited. I love little
Let
dumb
me get a
creatures,
refill.
and prairie dogs are absolutely too cute and little silly looking faces. I like possums too, and I feel like prairie dogs and possums are very similar in behavior.
They are similar in behavior. I think prairie dogs are cute. Possums, I'm not so much. Not so much on the possums. We had one that died in our shed
Oh,
years ago.
R.I.P. possum.
when I was still living back where you guys are. And I didn't know about it all winter, right? And the shed was locked up for the winter.
A possum?
So I'm like, yeah. And so I opened it up and it was probably the worst smell ever. And I won't go into detail about the condition of Mr. Possum. It was, ugh.
Oh, listen. Well, okay. So here's horrible. So Sue Carey Bradley got bit by an earwig last week. So
I hate those.
listen.
I hate those too.
They were a real situation growing up in Wyoming. And the number of kids that I knew that had to have a parent literally, I cannot I'm with that the way you are with the tarantula migrations.
Yeah, see, I don't like spiders. I don't like scorpions. I don't like millipedes or centipedes. And earwigs. Like if it's got pincers and too many legs, I want nothing to do with it. Same category as spiders for me. Get it away from me.
And
Listen to what Angela Williams just said. She said, I would put Madagascar hissing roaches on my arm to avoid observations from my principal if I was having a rough day. We ask too much of teachers.
we do.
We
We
just
do.
ask
That's just not right.
way too much of teachers. That's so horrible. There's a zoo in Chicago in Lincoln Park, and they have a room of Madagascar hissing cockroaches. And you go into the room. Now they're behind. They can't get on you,
Mhm,
right? They're behind screens, but they keep the room lit with a red light for the roaches. And you walk, and the room is small, and you walk in, and you're surrounded almost completely by hundreds of these hissing Madagascar cockroaches. They're big and they're loud and they're hissing and clicking and with their faces. That's a nightmare.
Not
Yeah, I
feeling
don't
it.
want that
Yeah.
either. Doc, would you walk into a room full of hissing cockroaches willingly? Because I would never.
Yeah, definitely not.
Oh, Robin Valdez says that the prairie dogs are very destructive. I'm guessing
are.
like people's
They
gardens,
are.
yards.
They get into everything. Yeah. That's
But
Yeah.
they're so cute.
That's why it's bad to
They
kill
are.
rattlesnakes.
What are they?
That's why it's bad to kill rattlesnakes.
Bad to kill rattlesnakes because the rattlesnakes eat the prairie dogs.
Well, that makes sense.
This is not an easy happy hour for the tenderhearted
No.
among us so
No.
far.
I'm not selling a sponsorship to anybody. That's for sure.
Jessica Wallace says, we used to try to save Daddy Longlegs, but by the time we got outside, we'd knocked off like 3 legs. Oh my God.
Do you know they're the most poisonous of all spiders, except that
No.
they can't bite you. Their teeth are
I
not
thought
big
that was-
enough to bite you. But in terms of the venom that they have,
Oh, if they could bite you
right?
is what
I
you're
haven't
saying.
fact checked this, right?
I
But
thought
this
it
is
was
what
a
I
myth.
understand.
I thought somebody.
I don't think it's a myth. I just think that they just can't get to you because they're
Well, if it's incorrect,
pincers or
somebody's
whatever.
going to correct you in the
yeah,
comments.
somebody. If there's an arachnophologist or whatever you call it in the crowd, fact check us on that one.
Listen to this. Colleen Rowland says, Western Colorado chiming in here, just videoed hundreds of Mormon crickets on Grand Mesa. And those are,
What's a Mormon cricket? Does it
I-
have a lot of lives? Like what? I'm sorry.
they're horrifying. Okay, so the crickets are not the Mormons. The crickets are, my mom's Mormon, so, the crickets are horrifying. And now this could be BS. One of my bonus brothers told me that they got the name Mormon cricket because of the way they swarmed to settle. And so it was insulting.
Oh.
If somebody knows if that's true or not, let us know and we'll correct that. Blacksburg, Virginia. Erica Grafsky, first year of classes for tech students.
All right.
And Jen Herman says, I'm a volunteer docent at a zoo in Alabama, and they have hissing Madagascar roaches, and I refuse to even look at them.
That's a fair response. Honestly, I wouldn't want to look at them either.
Which zoo was it? It might have been the Chicago Zoo. Every Valentine's Day, you make a donation, and they'll name a hissing cockroach after your ex.
That's hilarious.
I saw there was a animal sanctuary too that would write your ex's name in the bottom of the litter box. So just
Wow.
That's a solid idea. Heather said she learned that same thing about Mormon crickets a long time ago. Crystal Bianco, I'd kiss a cockroach if it meant I never had to see another spider. Heather is right.
like
Everyone
that.
else is wrong. So the Mormon crickets, they look like they're really frightening. Sue Bradley said they look like a cross between a cricket and a spider. There's something extra.
Oh, that sounds terrible. No, never mind. I thought I was okay with crickets, but now they're on the bad list too. If they look anything like a spider.
No, the Mormon crickets are, and there's so many of them. Like if you get in a swarm, no. I would rather sit on the ground during the tarantula migration than be in a cricket swarm. I don't know about you.
I don't want to be in any sort of swarm of bugs.
Sarah Kirby says she's eaten cricket lollipops. Was that on a dare?
Can you tell us what they taste like?
Oh, and Colleen said the Mormon crickets are huge too, about the size of a date. So I want you to a big fat alien looking thing coming right at you like a kamikaze.
That goes on the nope list. Absolutely not.
Chad is asking, are we recording this? Can't find the one Lamar did last week. We had a technical problem with Lamar's happy hour. So Heather had to pull it down because it was glitching or something. So pull it down so that we can fix it. And it will come back up probably next week, right?
Yep,
sometime when we get back home from this conference. Wait, what is this? Oh, Kathleen Winan says, I could never watch Fear Factor because of the dining on the hissing cockroaches. You know what? I'm with you on that. Like there's no TV reality show I want to win that bad.
No, never.
Although if we're being honest, it would be better for your health to eat a Madagascar hissing cockroach than get into that hot tub on The Bachelor.
Yeah, that's fair. That's
Okay.
I can agree with that.
Okay, legit.
Joelle Smith has eaten cricket tacos. She said they taste like pistachios.
We were fact checked on that. On the Daddy Longlegs, and it went by too fast, and I apologize for whoever sent that.
Oh, what can maybe Heather can go back. Oh my God, Heather Meldrich is the nicest person. She said, if I see those little sugar ants in the house, I'll only get rid of them in pairs. If one or odd numbers, I let them be. I don't want them to die alone. Oh, y'all. Uncle Sparkles wants to know, since the sheriff is with you, who is taking care of the cats? Well,
They're raising themselves.
Rick, Sparkles, you have already fallen on the sword for us for that. So we could not come back to you this soon. We have to wait until time, which heals all wounds. We need for time to buff off some of the sharp edges of your litter box trauma, because Sparkles doesn't have pets.
Oh, okay, so yeah, the litter box is no fun.
So Susanna Banks said, I ate a spiced cricket and it wasn't bad until one leg got caught in my throat. They were very dry and crunchy and spiced. It may have gotten caught in my throat since I swallowed it whole.
Oh, that's no,
God.
No, thank you.
Oh my goodness. Tracy doesn't want to eat any bugs or get in the bachelor's hot tub. There's someone who's living sensibly and making all good choices right there. This is like a game of would you rather. Yeah. Oh, so Jen Herman said, I drew the line on that show, Fear Factor. when they were eating Rocky Mountain oysters.
Well, there is a restaurant called The Fort here, and it is on the west side of Denver. If you guys know, I've heard of a arena called Red Rocks, which is a pretty famous concert place. The Fort's right next to it, and they serve all of that Rocky Mountain oysters and buffalo and elk and all that.
Okay, here's the deal from Shay Breed. Googled for you about daddy long legs, and this is what I found. The daddy long legs is not harmful to humans, but they can kill redback spiders. Those are Australian black widows. Because redback venom can kill humans, people may have believed that daddy long legs could kill us too. Is it a myth that the daddy long legs is the most poisonous spider on earth? Yes, it is. They do have the powerful venom. The myth is that they have the powerful venom, but their fangs are too small. So
that's interesting.
yeah.
So it's kind of half a
So thank
half
you
a
for
deal.
that, Shay.
Okay.
Roxanne says, I had a friend swallow a whole goldfish. The other friend couldn't swallow it whole, so she chewed it. Maybe we need to do a food giveaway, Tone.
We can do that.
They're eating crickets and
Yeah, I
spiders and
think it's
goldfish.
easy to get the food.
What?
Ashley Fisher's, it's her anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
Yay,
10 years.
Ashley.
10 years.
Why would you swallow a goldfish? Why would you do that?
It's to join a fraternity.
No,
That's gross.
No, although I'm going to be honest, I might do that before I ate blue cheese.
What is blue cheese? You go to the steakhouse and you get the wedge and they put the blue cheese on. It's good.
There's a zero.
Ambrosia.
There is a.
Sheriff's with me.
I know he loves it.
Sheriff's with me.
There is a 0% possibility of me eating that.
Yeah.
I eat it straight out of the jar and out of my refrigerator.
It's moldy.
Celery
You know
and
that
carrots and
Nice.
late night show where they have the spinning wheel and it's either you answer the question or you absolutely eat something horrifying.
Mhm.
Like, I feel like if we set that wheel up, it would have like blue cheese, like cricket legs, and it would only be the legs of the cricket. I would tell you anything. I would tell you my darkest secrets to avoid any of this stuff.
I would, if I were given the choice between dried cricket legs and blue cheese, it's not even a choice.
Really?
I'm eating the dried cricket legs.
Wow,
Yeah.
I'm all in on
Yeah.
the blue cheese. I am all in on the blue cheese.
Now there's Allison. She'd eat her own toe before she ate blue cheese.
All right,
Where
Allison.
you weigh in on
I-
blue cheese? Are you no blue cheese?
Definitely no blue cheese.
Yeah. That checks out.
So Ashley would like to have an interesting fun fact about everybody here tonight.
Oh.
So we've already learned that Heather has never even touched a horse. Which that does surprise me.
Yeah.
Even city kids have access to
to a horse,
horses.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there was one that was in like a pasture behind my grandparents' house, but he would never get close enough to let us touch him. So I've just never touched one. I've seen them, just never.
You
touched
could
them.
identify one if you
Yeah,
had to.
right.
You've just never touched it. Doc, a fun fact that the people do not know.
I have never been on a road trip.
We
Really?
have to do something about that.
Really?
Yes.
No, we flew. We flew though.
That
I did.
guarantees that we now have to drive to that restaurant with the robot waiters.
You've never been on a road trip.
No.
Do you want to go on a road trip? Does it have any appeal for you?
I don't know. I go back and forth. It's like, do I want to do the
Ours
driving?
was a road trip. Doc and Heather here to the zoo.
There you
Go
go.
to the zoo.
Yeah. Although we won't be able to feed the animals because Kev finally got his wrecked truck replaced, and I don't think he's going to let it.
Go in my car.
Yeah, I don't think we're allowed to have animal feed. All right, Tony, a fun fact about you.
Let's see. I was the anchor man of my morning news in junior high school.
Every day, like
Every
on
day.
the announcements?
Every day. It was great. I got out of homeroom every day. Yep, for like 3 years.
That's very impressive.
Yeah.
Because of your good grades and excellent behavior?
No, because I just wanted to do it.
You wanted to be on the radio. Wanted to be on the radio.
Right.
Yeah,
I wanted to.
yeah.
I wanted to be that. So yeah.
I don't think there's a single fact about me, fun or otherwise, that is not known. Can you think of anything? No.
No, I can't think of anything. You're an open book.
I'd ask Kevin, but I'd rather he didn't share some of those fun facts. So. They'd be fun and factual, but we're probably not going to go ahead and share some of that. Oh, let me see. Okay. So Amy is shocked, Doc, because road trips are the best. And Tracy says we have to make a road trip happen for Doc.
And
So
we got to do the mandatory snack stop, and we got to like get too much stuff, and then we got to make the playlist, and then
yeah,
you got to get a little car sick, or it's not real.
you have to, when you have a road trip, the first gas station you stop at, you have to buy like,
She wants to ride home with us.
you get like Twizzlers and Tabasco Cheez-Its and Dr. Pepper. Like you get all these like really nasty, gross snacks. And yeah. And then you ride, like when we go on a road trip, Doc, like we literally will drive from one side of America to the other.
It's cool. Road trips are kind of cool.
And we have to drive by some like really weird looking stuff, so you can like stare at it through the window.
Max and I did a couple of road trips, and we had a blast. We went to Cincinnati, and we went to Louisville, and we went. I'm trying to remember where else we make this big loop around sort of the Midwest. That was a blast. It was a blast.
It's, Bob's wife doesn't like road trips either. Mary does not want to be in the car. She's bored and restless. There are people that don't get off on that. I like it because you don't really know how big like this country is or how enormous Kansas is. South Dakota, like before you die, enter South Dakota on the east and drive all the way through to the Wyoming border. You'll go through the Badlands. You'll see things so beautiful that you'll need to keep pulling over to the side of the road to take it in. And you'll realize that this is a big country and a lot of it has no people. And I think that's because all of the people now live in Aurora, Colorado.
Or they're coming because
they're building houses like it's crazy. The population explosion here.
Construction's insane.
But don't you get that? Because you've driven across country. Don't you realize like, wow, we need to stop being so awful to each other because this country is huge and beautiful. And we should stop being such dickheads.
Really is. I've driven from the East Coast to here in Denver 4 different times.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's a long drive. It's like 30 something hours, but it's cool. It's cool because you get to see, the geography change. So you get in the east, there's all these trees, and then you go through the Smoky Mountains, through like Knoxville and Nashville, and then on to St. Louis, and you go through the giant handle, the Gateway Arch that looks like a handle, and then you get to Kansas City, and then it's flat. And then once you get to like Topeka, it's flat all the way here. And it's just flat and wide. You can see 60 miles in either direction on the road, right? It's cool.
You can see everything. And one of the really neat things about doing a cross-country trip is when you cross the state line, in a lot of states, it's shocking how instantly things change.
Yeah.
Like Kevin was saying that today, like when he crossed the state line from Kansas into Colorado, everything
changes. Yeah.
It's like a flip. We took when I went up for Eric's graduation, when he graduated from Ohio State, I had Karamia and a friend with me and never been to Ohio. And they could not believe, like, what did they make the line here because it looks so different? And I can't account for it, right? You think it would be more subtle.
Yeah, I just
but
think
it's not.
And when guys drew the map, they're like, okay, this is a good. I really do. It changes here. This is a good place to draw the state line.
Yeah. So Joelle says, I drove from San Diego to Washington, D.C. It took 3 days just to get through Texas. Oh, girl, you do not lie. Texas, you can drive. I think we spent 10 hours one day driving through Texas, and we didn't finish Texas.
No.
Like that is no exaggeration. And yes, Robin's right. The quality of highway maintenance changes too. Yeah.
No question about it.
Yeah. You cross a line, it's like smooth, and then your teeth are getting rattled out of your head. Kimberly Fluke said she liked driving through Kansas when the sunflowers were in bloom. I bet that's super.
Oh yeah. In the spring. Yeah.
Super duper pretty. Last summer when we were visiting my mom in Utah when I got COVID, we left my mom's house at in St. George at like 2:00 in the afternoon, and we headed toward Arches, which is Moab, and it stays light out west really late in the summertime. So it wasn't fully dark till after 10 p.m. We were like the only car on the highway, and it was the most spectacular drive. And only Utah looks like Utah.
Absolutely right. That's absolutely right.
Because when we crossed into Colorado,
Different.
only Colorado looks like Colorado.
Yeah.
America,
Yeah.
you know, you really need to drive it to see it, to
Yeah.
appreciate.
Yeah.
What a beautiful
I
country.
drove from the Carolinas to Denver. The first time I did it in April, and it was spring in the South. Like there were dogwoods and things were blooming. There were flowers, azaleas, and then as I kept coming west, it changed back to winter. And I got to Colorado, no leaves on the trees yet. It was so weird just watching, like moving from backwards in seasons. It was kind of wild.
Where you live in Colorado, isn't it true that you're in like some unique position to just get snow? Like,
Yeah, so we're actually higher than Denver, but you come over a ridge that's north of us, and then south of us, there's another ridge that's about 8,000 feet called the Palmer Divide. And so when there's weather, it tends to, like when there's snow or stuff, it's like, so you'll get the forecast will say, Denver, 2 inches of snow, Castle Rock, 7.
Yeah.
Because you're sort of in this bowl in the.
And in June. Like Tony gets snow sometimes.
We've had snow
in
on
June.
Mother's Day.
Yeah.
We've had snow on Mother's Day. We've had snow on Labor Day. It doesn't happen all the time, but it sure does bum you out when it snows on Mother's Day.
Robert says drive through Wyoming at night. It's incredibly dark for so long. It's amazing and kind of shocking.
Yeah.
You don't even know if you've lived most of your life with light pollution, you really don't even know what the night sky looks like.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm trying to think of the name of the place now. It's completely escaped me. It's in Arizona, north of Phoenix. And we stayed there for a couple of nights.
Flagstaff?
No. Oh, it's Sedona.
Sedona.
And at night, it's like you can see the whole Milky Way at night, to the point where when you look up, you kind of like you catches your breath, because you're like, holy mackerel, it's unbelievable, all these stars. And they do a good job there to keep light pollution down. Have you been to Sedona?
No,
you'd love it. You got to go to Sedona.
We talked about it on our last pass through Arizona. It's on our list. We'll get to Sedona. So as a kid out west with no light pollution and no people and no phone or radio, we saw things in the night skies that are just inexplicable. And when you live in a place where you have true dark skies, you very quickly learn what a shooting star, what a meteorite looks like. And that's Venus, and that's clearly a satellite. But some of the other, like, erratic, wildly moving, you can ask my mom. And my mom, my mom. My mom is not. She's not spooky weird like I am.
She's not like that. No.
And everybody saw it, and all the adults talked about it, and there was no nobody knew what it was, but there was no shame or mockery to
There
it.
was like, hey, we saw something.
Yeah.
That night sky in Sedona is just unbelievable.
So Jan says we drove from Fayetteville, North Carolina to Imperial Beach, California in 2.5 days.
Ooh, how many tickets did you get?
Oh my gosh, listen to this.
Hey, Jan, how many tickets along the way?
My now ex-husband stopped on the side of the road 66 miles shy of Oklahoma to sleep, basket case me because I'm pregnant and our nearly 1-year-old child, and the car kept shaking because of 18-wheelers going by.
Wow. I'm going to say hi to Debbie Road, who's in Palisade, Colorado, and she's right. The best peaches, sorry to all of you in South Carolina, the best peaches are from Palisade, Colorado. Yes,
Well, Colorado peaches are famous.
They're just amazing. I'm not a big peach guy, but
when I visit my mom in the summertime during peach season, there are signs on all these little roadsides. Colorado peaches just here, and in the South, we're all about Georgia, and South Carolina. But no, Colorado's amazing. Hi, Mark Marshall. I see that you're hanging with us tonight. Hi, Bobby Matisse. I hope I said that right. Kim English says, please go to Red Rocks while you're there. It's so beautiful. Yeah, I've never been to Red Rocks.
It's a great place to see a show.
What was the last show you saw there?
Oh, it was a couple of years ago. I can't even remember. It was my daughter wanted to see somebody. It was like Gautier or something like that I didn't
Oh, well,
really
that
care
would be-
about. You know, but I went because it was like, yeah, okay.
I mean, wouldn't you love to see Gautier at Red Rocks?
I
But
think I'd love to see anybody at Red Rock.
Yeah.
when you look behind the stage, you're looking down the mountain into downtown Denver. So you're seeing all the lights, and then it's flat, but right past Denver, it's just flat as can be. So you're just seeing from miles and miles and miles. It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous.
Apparently, Tony, Palisade is peaches and wine.
I have not enjoyed a glass of Palisade wine. Although I hear it's good, I haven't tried it.
Shame.
I know.
I mean,
I'm not representing well.
no
I know.
tarantulas.
I
You
know.
don't have any
I know.
antlers.
I know. What are you gonna do?
No Rocky Mountain oysters.
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
It's a disappointment.
I know.
Like I want to say hi to Jill O'Perry and Kelsey West who were with us, and Mary Bernal, who hasn't seen a good view of the night sky for more than 15 years with all the lights. Girl, I know.
It's
I
hard.
know. I
It's
know.
hard. Even in my subdivision, it's I have a big old telescope. My other nerd thing, and I don't use it very often because of the haze and the light pollution. It's hard to spot. I mean, unless like Jupiter's like boom, it's hard to see.
We can't. Every time there's some like go outside at 2:00 in the morning and you'll see, like the
Yeah,
dog, like
yeah.
all these. It's
Yeah.
it's always too overcast and hazy for us.
We were in Alaska to see the Northern Lights.
And
it was overcast.
totally
the
overcast.
whole time.
Before we jump, because it's already time, I just want to tell everybody that this weekend, Kevin and I are driving from here to Dulce, New Mexico. Why are we going to Dulce, New Mexico?
Sure,
You
tell
might
us
wonder.
why you're going. We wonder why.
Because Dulce, New Mexico is where all the legends swirl about a joint U.S. military alien underground base. And many people have had experiences and seen things and had encounters in Dulce. So that's where we're headed.
Well, say hi to ET for me,
Yeah.
and good luck.
So first the tarantula migration, and then the underground alien base. This girl knows how to
You
live.
know how to live. You know how to live. Yeah, screw Saint Tropez.
Oh yeah, y'all saving up for Paris? Pfft, whatever, tarantulas and aliens, or what I'm all about. So thanks for hanging with us at Happy Hour. I'm sorry it's a little chaotic, but we didn't want to miss it because we love y'all. We wanted to hang out, and thank you for listening to the show and to the Oddcast and Talking Lamar and True Weird Stuff and all of that, because you are who we're making it for. So if y'all hated it, that would really be, a bummer and stuff. That would really be, negative. Kev, before we hang up, people have asked, just stick your head in and say hi, and then we'll just stick your head in by Doc
Stand next to Doc.
and wave. Here he comes. There he is. There he is.
Hey, Glenda.
We love you. Night. We'll see you next
Night,
time on
everybody.
Happy Hour. Bye.